Hey, welcome back. This is Dalton in Cloud. In today's video, we're going to be going over what could be expected of you, or what would be expected of you going into a role for a cloud engineer, a cloud support role, a junior cloud support role. Just right after what will be expected of you, certifications, experience. Um, but before that, be sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and also be sure to like the video. It sincerely helps. So I really appreciate it. And it takes no effort unless, clicking a button takes effort. So, but you're here. Um, shall we begin? All right, so now that we're here, we're going to look at a couple roles. So these are all in Richmond, Virginia. This is where a bulk majority of cloud roles are. This is where a lot of Amazon's main warehouses are. There's actually two of these job postings are for Amazon, for AWS, and then the other two are for example, Equinox. They're a big data company, government. They do a lot of government, and then there's another AccuCenter for a federal position. All great companies. Equinox is great, AWS is great, and so is Accenture. So first, we'll just be going over what the requirements state on the posting, and then what you could get. This is primarily, we're going to be going over, as you could tell, there's going to be a lot of what we're going to be going over for what you could learn at Linux Academy. I've talked about Linux Academy, aka A Cloud Guru. I've talked about them before. I am still not sponsored by them. I don't think I ever will be, but they're a great platform. You could learn a lot for pretty cheap, and I know taxes are coming around here soon. So remember, anything for education you can try to use for a tax write-off, which does include subscriptions for education, getting certified, all that fun stuff. But that aside, that could be for a financial video. We could go over that. So for this particular posting, anytime it says bachelor degree, yes, that is what they prefer. And you could actually go get a bachelor degree for cloud for pretty cheap, as low as $4,000. But I don't advise that. I advise going the full 4 years, or 2 years if you already have an associate's, and that's at Western Governor University. They also pay for certifications at that college. But as I said, it's not required. It's just they always strong arm it, especially HR department. Cybersecurity experience, 3 years. So if you had a security analyst position, we talked about that in one of the previous videos for getting a security analyst job. Python, PowerShell, etc. So scripting knowledge. And they didn't write it, but that also includes Bash, something like Bash. But if you have scripting knowledge, pretty intense scripting knowledge, this is going to help you tremendously. It says 2 years. If you have 4 years, you could kind of bypass these two. If you could just double up the other knowledge. And even if you're just doing scripting in your own environment, or you're just working on different projects, having those in your portfolio will help as well. Deep knowledge of Microsoft Azure, Azure scripting knowledge, or AWS, experience with CI/CD automation tools, experience with container technologies, Azure, Office 365, Linux RHEL, Active Directory, Azure AD, DevSecOps, so administration tools, cloud service monitoring, an SIEM tool. So this includes McAfee, or it also includes Splunk, which Splunk, I think I talked about, but they have a free certification you could get. It's $100 to pay for the certification, but they give you training for free. So, and Splunk is widely used in a lot of security analyst positions. Nessus, we talked. You learned this when you were going over and studying for the Security Plus. A lot of these tools, these security tools, load balancers. If you study for the Solutions Architect Associate, you learn about all of this. So a lot of this you know by getting certain certifications, and we're going to be going over which ones kind of incorporate all of what they're talking about here. TCP/IP, again, Security Plus, Net Plus. A lot of this networking stuff, I learned a lot more detail in the Net Plus studying than I did in the Solutions Architect, but you also learn about it there. And then you learn a lot more in depth in like the CCNA, which will be the next one on the chopping block. Strong analyst diagnosis and troubleshooting skills. At any help desk job, you could learn this. At any help desk job, you could learn this. So a lot of this stuff is just like if you work at a help desk job for a few years, you could chop those off the checklist. Okay. Support engineer role at Amazon. Same thing, as I said. It's not really a strong requirement, but it is a requirement that HR is going to put on there. Sysadmin, network admin, DevSecOps engineering role. Systems and or network role, so working at a NOC or a SOC will help for this. 3 years of utilizing tools with Unix or Linux. So, I mean, heck, if you have been programming or even using like command pretty intensely with like a Unix environment in your own home, or even using like Unix on like a Mac, you could still put that towards the amount of years of experience that they're asking for there. And then again, stuff you learn help desk role or SOC or NOC role, experience with AWS technologies, just getting your SAA or Dev Associate or SysOps Associate would help go towards that. Principles and leadership, functional technical roles, those are going to be like you just whenever you're preparing for an interview, you always go see what their principles are, and what like soft tools they use, for example, like the STAR method, anything such as that. For this particular role, when you're experiencing a technology role, really low bar. That's why they're asking for junior role. This is a realistic junior role. 1 year experience in a technology role, 1 year experience scripting or programming in Unix or Linux, 1 year using an automation tool, 1 year implementing architectures in a container or Docker. Like, this is really realistic. And if you just study this material and got like associate or junior level certifications, you're more than qualified for this. Like, this is easy pickup for like a junior role, and I wish more junior roles would actually have realistic expectations like this. And then next, AWS Cloud Support Engineer 1 Analytics. So customer service, like help desk role, providing support, familiar with ELT process, understanding cloud concepts. One of these languages, one of these scripting languages. Like, this is another more realistic analytics like junior role, hence the one, not like the just support engineer. This is like when they have something like this usually is junior, is what it means when they have like the I in front of it. And then 2 and 3 would be like mid, and then 4 and up would be senior roles or specialty roles generally. And they won't say like numbers anymore. They'll have a specialty associated with them. But so all of these skills that they want for any of these jobs, you could learn on Linux Academy, aka A Cloud Guru. So, for example, for this role, when they want you to have Azure and AD skills, Lars Klint, this AZ900, this is a perfect introduction for Azure. Lars Klint, an amazing instructor and provider for entertainment over at A Cloud Guru. I know almost everyone who's taken like a junior, or not junior, but entry level exams such as this have used this. I as you could tell, I'm only 37% into it, but so far really easy to digest. You don't have to put that much time a day into studying. And so far the quizzes have been pretty informational as well. And then if you want to get more in depth into it, you could go for like the Azure Admin, which would prepare you for more of like a sysadmin type role in the cloud. This is taught by Robert Burnett. I have looked at this course a little bit, and Robert seemed to do a pretty good job explaining this. And then the famous Anthony James for the AZ303. He was the founder and CEO of Linux Academy before. And I've heard nothing but great things about this. I've not actually looked at any of Anthony's material, but I've heard nothing but great things. So like, look at that. Like those are three perfect, great Azure exams you could start off with. Even if you just start off with the AZ900 and then worked over to like the Azure Sys Architect Associate or the Architect Associate, that'd be perfect starting point. And then we have some Linux certifications that could really help you out. So in order for what I actually suggest, LPI Linux Essential certification, you can go look at Professor Dion. We've talked about him before for security studying for the Sec Plus, and I'm actually studying him for the Net Plus. I'll tell you how helpful his resources were later. But he also has practice exams for this. But Michael Christian, I know a lot of people who've actually I didn't get to take this yet, but I know a lot of people who have taken this course right here and passed on the first try for the Linux Essentials certification course or certification. I didn't actually take it. I completed the course. He does a great job, very in depth. The labs are very, very in depth and let you have a good understanding of what's required for basic Linux handling, piping commands, and just utilizing Bash and Vim and all the fun stuff that goes with Linux administration. I highly recommend if you're new to Linux, start out with something such as this. Or no, this is the Python course. This one. So this is preliminary exam in Red Hat administration, PE 124, with Michael Brunch. This is also another good course to start off with for starting off with Linux. Or if you're someone who's more familiar with Linux, going for the sysadmin. This is also like the CCNA. This would do wonders for your resume. If you are able to pass this exam, that checkbox for 2 years, that's going to just check that off right away. A lot of people are just going to be like, oh, so he knows his stuff, or she knows her stuff. And that'll help out for that. So RHCSA is the actual exam or the certification name. And then the next step would be the RHCE. Is going to be the next step after the RHCSA. But if you just want to get this is essentially an associate level Linux certification that's widely renowned and recognized in the industry. So if you were trying to get a cloud role and you really wanted to prove, like, I could do like a mid-level engineer type or senior level engineer type of job, going for this would be great. Otherwise, I'd stick to the Linux essentials for those junior roles, just to get your feet wet and start getting in there. And as I said, scripting. So you can go for something like this. Go get Python certification. Getting an actual certification for Python is not actually needed. I don't know anyone who... I don't even think HR ever looks for them. I don't think anyone in HR looks for them. It'd be good to study a course like this, because it's going to give you in-depth knowledge of what you need to know for scripting for Python. But as I said, if you didn't want to study Python, you could also just learn Bash and Vim, and there you go. So as long as you know scripting knowledge, but learning Python would go hand over fist to help you out, especially if you're sticking to the Amazon route. However, that might change. I know recently Microsoft just hired the creator of Python, so I have a feeling that they're going to be incorporating Python a lot into their future updates and implementations. So that's definitely something to look out for. Okay, so we have like Linux, we have Azure, we have Python, all this on one platform. We have automation. You can learn Ansible. I don't think they have any certifications for Chef, but hey, you never know. That could be in the future pipeline. But you could get certification exams for Ansible, and that's also needed. That was actually in one of the posts, is having knowledge of Ansible. Don't think it was this one. Let's look. Ansible. Nope, not there. Yeah. So 1 year of Ansible, Chef, Puppet, Salt. So, and you don't even need a certification for one of these, just as long as you show that you have experience with a automation program. Puppet and Ansible are really widely used and well known. Chef and Salt are also used a lot, but Chef more so than Salt, I think. But again, just proves you could learn everything on one platform. Introduction to Ansible, I'd actually suggest, just as I said, it's just said a year. It's for a junior role. As long as you could show you have the fundamental knowledge on how to utilize the program and how to utilize Ansible, that's what they're looking for. And then again, another checklist, needing to know containers. So Kubernetes and Docker. They have in-depth Docker and Kubernetes. They have an associate certification course. You don't need to know this. You don't actually need this for like a junior role such as that. But if you're going for a mid-level engineer role, Docker associate would definitely be something you want to pop on your resume along with the RHCSA, and either the associate architect for either Amazon or Azure. So getting those certifications would definitely help. But again, for like a junior role such as this or this, you don't need these associate level certifications. They're going to be for later on when you're trying to go for that mid-level position, mid-level engineer position, but it's not going to be needed for going for a junior role, as long as you could prove you have the fundamental knowledge. Moral of this post is almost anything you want to study for, you could learn on one single platform. Whenever they have deals, which they do have deals generally on like Black Friday, you could get a year's worth of training for $300. Normally, if you're just going to keep buying and buying courses, it's going to cost you more than $300 over the course of the year trying to get access to all these different courses. And then they have labs that go with it. You could spin up a playground instance, and you could spin up your own servers. You could spin up SSH terminals. You could spin up cloud sandbox environments on whatever cloud platform you want, and never have to worry about, oh, did I shut down this service? Am I going to get billed for this? Again, I don't get paid anything to tell you about this. I just think it's an amazing service. I wouldn't be telling you if I didn't. But those are some of the skills you need to get some of these engineer roles, cloud engineer roles. And one piece of advice I've gotten from someone who is currently at the company I work at, who's already in a senior role, mainly in specialty roles such as security. But the main thing I want to provide for advice is, if you're going to go cloud, don't split yourself apart into different like cloud environments. Pick one. Either pick Azure, pick Amazon, pick Google. Just pick one environment and stick with it. Even if you see postings for knowing multiple platforms, just pick one and stick to one. Thank you. Pick one and stick to one. That's going to be my advice for that. Other than that, as I said, I'm going to be taking the Net Plus. I will be telling you the resources I used to pass when I pass. And then I'll be going over the joys of you vicariously going through me, so you can learn what to study and what not to study, and how effective it is when going over it. I didn't do this before, but I'll be going over test score, kind of how I prepared before the exam, how much weeks I gave myself before the exam, or how many hours I gave, and what I kind of did for the ritual for passing. Other than that, thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next time. Again, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Stay classy.